Yes, guys, welcome back to the Cannon podcast and to the instant reaction. Arsenal. Aston Villa. Aston Villa, we're going to beat you. Unai Emery, he's got a plan for you. Oh, has he? Has he? We got a plan for you, mate. Unbelievable. Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 0.
Fantastic, mate. Sensational. Sensational. What a win.
The set I'm on.
Listen, what a goal.
Recognise?
What a player.
Bhavs, do you
Sorry?
recognise just quickly the set I'm on? Any
Oh,
guesses?
wow.
Anyone in the comments?
He's spending time with a certain James B, I see.
Ooh, James B. You might be in a minute. You might be in a minute. We watched it together.
Club.
Yeah, so you might be here in just a second, but let's get into it, mate. What a important win. That look, there's in these types of situations, there is always stuff to discuss. We're going to discuss Martinelli, absolutely. We're going to discuss the performance of Thomas Partey. We're going to talk Morgan Rogers, all that stuff, absolutely to be discussed. But let's just for a moment take a second and say 2-0 away at Villa Park. That was a problem for us last season. A big barrier has been broken. Really pleased. Really pleased.
Massive. And the type of win itself as well, it's kind of more satisfying in my eyes. We could have gone to Villa Park and dominated them and made all the chances and had all the field tilt, but we kind of sucker punched them. And we got lucky. We got fortunate. They had some very good chances in the first half and second half. Ryan made a tremendous save. I mean, wow, what a moment that was. And you know, lastly, we created a total of 3 XG against them. In both games, had enough chances to kill them off. The game in the first game where Odegaard blazed it wide and it was an easy chance. They should have had a penalty. Second game, Trossard, where he had that kind of tap in and Martinelli's done a great save as well. This time was for Arsenal times. It was Arsenal's time to cash in. And when Trossard came off the bench and did that, it was too cold. The celebration as well. Nonchalance.
Yeah, unbelievable.
That guy.
The aura was crazy.
That is
man.
aura.
He was just like, and what?
Yeah,
of
just
course.
normal,
Of course.
Who
might have
else?
cashed in. Yeah, we might have cashed in.
Yeah,
there was. Yeah, I think what's exciting about that game is, and we did it at points last season, but maybe not in games that big where we didn't. I think we played pretty well at points. Like there was times where we were controlling the game. There was times where they had their chances and stuff. It was a pretty end-to-end match. But as you say, there was the kind of the sucker punch aspect to it, which I don't think I don't feel like we've always kind of done necessarily. Let's try and come to a couple of the main aspects. Let's just look at the goals first. Before we want to come to sort of the stats. We want to look at the sort of each player performance. We'll come to your comments and stuff at the end. The goals themselves. I thought the ball went out with Saka, so I actually didn't celebrate the first goal because I was going no chance. But the efficiency from Trossard, that had been coming. I felt that had been coming the whole game. Because Ben White was making these lovely ghosting runs. I mean, I know our right hand side is always solid, but today it was good. Ben White was making these sort of ghosting runs. It felt like the right hand side was probably where the goal was going to come from. Certainly before Trossard came on, I thought it had gone out, so I was picturing Newcastle goal and just going, no, it's not going to happen. So I had a little moment, but then when that got confirmed, I watched the celebration. Mate, unbelievable.
Honestly, it was a fantastic goal. We talked always about moments, Arsenal needing moment players to come up. Trossard has done it time and time again. I think he's one of our highest point-winning players last season. Goals off the bench, he had 4 5. It's the most of any sub since last season alongside John Duran. And that's the moments player. He's a player he's just a clinical finisher. And if it was one player who would take that, let's just say I was to go back and you kind of was to hide the player, I'd go as Trossard. Because that's how he is. Incisive first-time finish, instinctive and back of the net. And then the celebration was even better.
Yeah. No, you're actually so right. You're so right. And it's so nice to have players on the bench like that. And you're kind of, we'll come to the sort of maybe the less good stuff sort of a little bit later on in terms of around Martinelli. But it's so nice to be able to have players on the bench. You go, right, we know that's a consistent thing now. This is something that's sustainable. Trossard can come off the bench and affect games in a very good way. And then the Partey goal was really, really nice as well. Nice finish. I think it was the best save from Martinez, but important.
Saka assist as well. So if anyone winning the second FPL,
here we go.
You're winning nice today.
I will say I've cooked on FPL.
Okay.
I think I captained. I captained Haaland. Let me just show you my team.
That's always a safe shot. That's boring. Like, you shouldn't do that.
Against Ipswich.
We get it. It scores goals.
Against Ipswich. Of course, I respect.
Saliba.
I want to come on to Saliba's performance today because that bloke, Christ on a bike. Saka, I've got him in my team. I had Smith Rowe in my team. I had Joao Pedro in my team. Mate, I've cooked. I've absolutely cooked. In terms of the first half, just sort of touch on the sort of tactical side of things. I felt as though the plan sort of first 20 minutes was. It looked to me Like we were basically trying to make those runs in behind. So Rice and Havertz were sort of trying to stretch the line, not necessarily to receive those balls in behind, but certainly to stretch the line and to sort of create a little bit of doubt in Villa's minds and create a little bit of space. That was kind of working. We had sort of Odegaard dropping out. We had Timber on the ball. We had Thomas Partey on the ball, sort of finding those balls in behind. That was kind of working. I didn't feel from a tactical perspective that what we normally do, especially on people's left-hand side, our right-hand side, we absolutely close you down and shut you off with our man-to-man. I didn't feel we can necessarily direct Villa over to that side particularly well. I'm just watching David Raya on the interview. What a man. What a man. What a hairline. Oh yeah, I'm a bit behind. James is on Now TV.
Oh wow.
He's in the Stone Age. He's in the Stone Age. I didn't feel we particularly directed the press very well, but I did think Saliba and Gabriel dealt with the duels in behind very, very well today. I didn't feel we dealt with the transition well at all through the game. That's a concern for me. We will come on to sort of the concerning aspects of the game in just a second. But yeah, in terms of, we just kept trying, man. We just kept trying. And sometimes in these sorts of games, James was sort of making this point that like, this is, we joke about this team, we joke about whatever, but this is a Champions League team that have just had a massive spending summer at their ground. They're going to have chances. They're going to have big chances. And it's up to us to deal with those chances when they come up. And I think we did that really, really well.
No, very well. And look, as I said, it's their first home game of the season. And it's our first away game of the season. And to go there and get a win, get a clean sheet as well, it wasn't comfortable, but these are the big games. Big games are never comfortable. And the Premier League's going to be like this whole season. Teams are more competitive than ever before. You see the likes of Brighton spending, what is it, like £100+ million this season.
Yeah.
And teams that, every team has a star nowadays, and they've all got their own tactics as well. And so we have to prepare for this stuff. But just looking at my team, I just sense confidence. I look at around every single player coming, go to the bench and start and go, I don't see no weak points here. I see every player here that's got the quality to be a proper star for Arsenal. And it's just a matter of who's more world-class than others. That's all it is. Because they all have a very high level.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I was worried this was going to be a game where we're all bemoaning the lack of the kind of the moments player or whatever. But, look, we had that moment last game from Saka. I'm watching Trossard now on my screen. Really? Yeah, it's unbelievable. Thank you guys all for your super chats and stuff. We'll come to those in just a second.
I'm getting Moreno's announcement on mine.
It's been announced?
No, I'm just joking.
Oh. Who got announced, sorry? Alberto Moreno from Liverpool.
Marino.
Oh, crazy. Let's come to the more...
said that as well, by the way.
Mikel
Marino.
You haven't. Let's come to maybe the more less good aspects of the game. And I've actually got a super chat, so I will take that now. From Brian. Thank you so much for the super chat, mate. For me, there's no logical reason for playing Martinelli over Trossard at this point. Yeah, I think Martinelli didn't have his best game. Look, I said in the summer, there was a situation in which over the summer, I'd be willing to look at a Martinelli sale. And the situation was a very low chance, but there was a chance of, okay, if we go and do a deal for, let's say the club feel that there is value in the market for an Osimhen or a Leao or a Rashford or whatever you choose, whichever your top level striker or forward is. If we feel we're remodeling the attack in a certain way, if we feel that Martinelli's time is up, I'd be willing for a really good fee to look at moving him on. And I got absolutely cooked. And I'll take a bit of personal pride from it. These are the sorts of games I'm looking at. I want to do a little bit of a boring coaching thing that I did with James in his kitchen at halftime. Saka runs at you. I'm gonna do that thing. Do you remember that clip of Jamie and Gary on Sky where he stands up?
So maybe you have to get James.
How much space I have. Saka runs at you.
Should we give it a full screen?
Maybe he gives you no. Put it back. Saka runs at you, but he gives you this. He puts his weight on his right leg, so he's running at you. The defenders they've got their left foot back and their right foot forward, and they're waiting for his movement, right? Because his weight's on his right leg and his strong foot's on his left, you don't know what to do. I wish I could show people what I mean in a more obvious way, but essentially it means that he's got the sort of the advantage to both sides because he's got the strong foot on the left, but also the weight and the momentum going on his right. Martinelli runs at you too straight. So it's too easy to deal with. He's running at you and you're able to deal with him because basically, his main strength is pace and he's running at you too flat. It's too predictable. He doesn't have this. He has the pace, but he doesn't use it to create the separation.
He's not able to manipulate the ball as well.
To go both sides.
Struggled.
And that's the second thing. The reason Trossard comes on and does so well, and I'm not killing Martinelli. This is just things to improve on. And we can have a discussion about Martinelli versus Trossard. We'll probably have it on the main pod, right? The thing with Trossard all of the good attacks in that second half came from a really deft touch early from Trossard. Whether it was out to Havertz, whether it was inside to round the corner to Rice, whether it was over, to Calafiori or to Timber before he sort of went off. The technical level that Trossard had, okay, he doesn't have the unbelievable pace of Martinelli, but the technical level that Trossard has facilitates so much more control in the game. Martinelli's a brilliant player, but the whole thing we always talk about with Martinelli, right, is well, he's brilliant. If you get Martinelli inside, once we platform him, once we put him inside, he's going to absolutely cook, right? I hear that, and I'm not saying that's not true, but Trossard is cooking inside. And Trossard is cooking inside in these so-called unfavorable dynamics that we're putting Martinelli in. The best players in the world, and by the way, I think Martinelli will get there, but my point always with Martinelli is he's going to get there. Do we need something sooner? My point with Trossard is he's able to thrive no matter the situation. And Martinelli, it appears like we have to platform him. We spend all this time going, how do we fix Martinelli? How do we get Martinelli inside? Well, Trossard, we don't get him inside, but he still cooks every single time. This isn't chuck Martinelli away. This isn't, whatever. But we have to accept that there are barriers to Martinelli having success that we need to accept, basically.
No, 100%
Sorry, I just
agree.
ranted.
No, it's not. But it doesn't mean we go sell Gabriel Martinelli tomorrow. That doesn't. But there's room for improvement, and light is to be expected for a player who's 22, 23 years of age. I think when we compare him to Saka because they've come up together at the same time.
And that's not fair.
Bukayos gone through, and it's not because some players have different types of developments. I think the reason why Mikel will always believe in Martinelli is he's always willing to learn. He's always trying the right things. Even if it don't work out and he's not got the same technical quality as Trossard naturally, he's going to try to learn. He's very enthusiastic as a player as well. And so I feel like, this year, the fact that we've gone for Mourinho first, let's see, I got it right this time, and Calafiori's coming in Timber as well. We've got like a left-hand side building there. We'll see how he thrives there. But if he doesn't thrive there, look, let's not forget at one point, Mikel Arteta wanted to spend £65 million on a player playing in Ukraine, making a record signing, who's a left winger. There's a reason behind that. It's not to play on the bench. I'll tell you that for a fact. So Mikel's seen this, but he's giving him the benefit of doubt, and we know he can cook as well. And so, football's a weird thing right now. He's a bit out of confidence, out of form. He's overthinking stuff. But, scores a few goals and gets a bit more confidence again. And we know he's got the quality in him. And it's just about, giving him the platform and environment. But you're right. It's good to have options. It's good to bring on a player. Our sleepy king, Leandro Trossard, comes off the bench and just strikes nicely. Or a celebration. I wonder if that celebration had a little bit of like, this is why you should start me, man. I should be
possibly.
Because he was thriving in pre-season as well, and he's come off the bench and scored a very important goal, and it's the first of many this year. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, I hope so. Let's do some super chats before we come to the sort of the individual analysis. We've got 1,700 of you watching live, which is crazy. So thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe. Cbart23, thanks for the super chat, mate. Trossard is an ice cold baller. Absolutely agree. Unbelievable performance from Trossard. I think I sort of summed it up in what we were saying before. Cesar says just phone James to inform him of a burglar. James is sat just there uploading his match reaction, which you should all go check out once we finish on here. The grind is real. He's probably going to come over here in just a second. Brian Holiday, for me, there's no logical reason for playing Martinelli over Trossard at this point. Yeah, we discussed that a little bit. O'Malley, thank you so much for the super chat, mate. Remember when Arteta said at our worst, we need to still be better than the opposition during pre-season. This is a prime example of that. Big up David Raya. Yeah, and this will come to Raya in the sort of the individual breakdowns. But I think this is a huge point for me. We weren't brilliant in that second half, but you said it, that sucker punch aspect of us is something that the absolute best teams do. And it feels like this is the next, if this is phase 3 or 4, wherever we are, this is phase 5. This is the ability to play like absolute, which I don't think we did, by the way. I think we had a good first half, poor start to the second half, and then the second half of the second half changed things. We weren't terrible, but we hung in there. And we still got the result no matter what the conditions. And Arteta's spoken about this many times. No matter what the conditions, no matter who's available, no matter what the crowd are doing, no matter what, you go and deliver. And that is really, really important for me.
No, it's very important. And that's the whole thing is to be a title winning side, a Champions League winning side, you can't be perfect every single game and win games. And in the past, we've had it where in Arsenal games, especially like early Arteta days, 21, 22 times, where if just a little thing was off, a player was missing from the team lineup or certain player was performing poorly, the entire team would drop. Whereas today, there was no poor performance. We weren't perfect. But Raya's moment at the back, a fantastic world-class save, which shocked me, by the way. And then you go and see the goal from Trossard as well. That's moments. This is what we've been asking for. And it comes, and do you know what? It was before the game when they announced the lineups and they go, Arsenal have 5 of the team of the PFA. And I was
Yeah.
going, team of the year, 5 players on my team
Yeah.
is like the best
Yeah.
players. And these are voted by the other players in the league. They've played against
Exactly.
these guys and gone, these guys
Yeah.
are the best.
Yeah. Yeah. It was what we were talking about on the main pod, right? Like the fact that it's voted for by other people tell you what people think of Arsenal, which is really great. Josh Miller, favourite moment is either White blasting the ball at McGinn. That was hilarious, right?
Oh, so satisfying.
I didn't see, so James will attest for this, I didn't see the first incident, so I didn't see what first happened with McGinn hitting the ball against Saliba. So I just thought White had lashed out. So I was like, what are you doing? And then it played the replay, and I was like, this
what guy, man. I love him. He deserves a pay rise just for that. There has to be a clause in the contract for that.
But
because do you know how satisfying that is as a fan when you see your boy
100%.
get hit out of nowhere? And this is a guy, by the way, who does this shit. We know how he is, John McGinn. He tries to act like a hard man out of nowhere. Bosh. That's what we're a team full of men now. We ain't boys. We ain't gonna get bullied around. You mess around with us, we're gonna hit you back as well.
They back each other. That's what I love so much. They properly back each other.
It was instinctive. He didn't think about it. He's like, no, that's not happening. Not my watch.
Yeah. Because that was the second incident in a few moments, because there'd been a moment where McGinn winded Saliba, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or done something or whatever.
And there was Watkins involved again where he was trying to get the ball off him.
Yeah. Sorry if maintenance not particularly good. I'll blame James B. It's his fault. G Money, new member. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate that. G Money. Mr. Gaspar. Hopefully this is Edu. Saliba is inevitable. He's the best centre back in the world, mate. We'll come to Saliba in our discussion of the individual players. Thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Sham as well. Thank you. I think we'll see more rotation for Timber in DM in place of Partey. I see him getting tired, and then Calafiori ending in left back and for Zinchenko. I don't know about Timber as a DM. What did you? Unsure. Thoughts?
As a DM, you'd have to see it first, But he's very comfortable on the ball. He's very assertive on the ball as well, and he's always got this sense of calm. Like he's a very calm temperament, and that's very important to play in midfield if you're going to play there, because the game can come at you fast as well. And he seems to always play at his own pace. But I think sometimes he overdoes it, and I'm not sure if his environment and he's adapting to a new league. Let's not forget he had no games, one start in the league last year. It will take time for him to reach his elite levels, and maybe come the end of the season where he's had a whole year of Premier League experience, we can have that conversation. But for now, keep him in his position, because let's not forget he's not even a left back in the first place. He's a right back, so centre back. So we've already moved him one time. Let's just one step at a time, and then we'll talk about up front, maybe in 2 years' time.
Although Arteta did reference that he could potentially be a midfielder, which I think is interesting. Big save, Dave. Absolutely. Arteta's been watching the Cannon podcast, man.
Big Dave save.
Ben N, big save, Dave. Yeah. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Thank you for the super chat, mate. Destructor, thank you so much for this super chat, mate. Very, very kind of you. Martinelli analysis feels lazy. Arteta prioritizes defensive solidity. Trossard is £135. He's a non-factor early in the game when trying to press. Not hating on Trossard is our best finisher, but if he was lazy, we don't acknowledge his strength. Look, out of possession, and James, will you back me up on this? I said this during the game. Out of possession, you coming in now? Yeah. Nice. Out of possession, Martinelli is brilliant. The work he does, he's terrific. He's extraordinary. And of course, we're comparing to Saka, which isn't fair. I'm not saying it is fair. We're comparing to Saka, and that's not fair. But we're trying to beat the robots. I'm really glad Man City did what they did today. I am really glad, because it reminds people what we're up against. And if we're trying to get top 4, I can absolutely deal with Martinelli having flaws and certain issues, but we all saw that it held us back. And if we're dealing with the finest of margins, we need someone who's brilliant in all phases of play.
No,
so
they will. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not discounting at all what Martinelli does out of possession. He's absolutely brilliant. The boy's here. Here he is. Let me just take my headphones off so you can all.
There we land. Man.
Hang on.
Here we go, guys.
Will it just change to?
Yeah, we should. You can hear me, right, Baz?
I can hear you. And I'm
terrific stuff. James B from the Gooniverse is here.
How we doing?
So it should be fine.
Can we make it like a different angle? Let's try this one sec. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
That's very
James
clever.
B. What are the comments saying? Here he is.
Clever.
Yes. We're just talking about Martinelli. And the sort of the comment has said, like, how do we? He is brilliant out of possession. He's rapid. He's one of the quickest players on our team. He can finish once he's inside. But how do we balance all that and make that all make sense?
Yeah, well, there's
with
that.
His shortcomings.
Can I also throw out there, not take anything from Trossard, who I thought was terrific. Everything from his touch to his movement, to his runs, everything. Obviously, the goal. also there's that kind of coming on with 25, 30 minutes to go with a fullback that's been worked hard by Martinelli.
Yeah.
Like Martinelli's strengths are so that even if he's having a bad game, you have still made the fullback work hard.
Yep.
They've still had to okay, he's not at his best, but I know his pace, I know he's direct. So I can't really switch off here at any point. I do think that definitely plays a part. But look, with Martinelli, 2 seasons ago, I gave him my player of the season, 22-23. I thought he was that good. When a player gets to those levels, when you are potentially the player of the season for a team that challenged the title, I'm not only a year and a few months on, done with him. I just think he's out of form. But I mean,
he looked annoyed when he came off as well.
Yeah. I think Trossard looked annoyed when he scored.
Yeah,
I think he looked But
is this what we need, Bhavs? Is this what we need?
Great.
Is this what we need? We need that
competition, man. Every player wants to think he can start because we want starting caliber players. I don't want bench warmers. I want players that are comfortable being sat on the bench. That's not a competition. I want every single player to be on the bench thinking he deserves to start, whether it's centre backs, goalkeepers, and front and forwards, because it creates an environment that in training I'm going to prove a point now. And that's what Mikel's always wanted. I don't want to have this little nice environment where everyone's smiling and creating nutmegs and this is all like a happy family. No, I want a competitive environment full of animals.
Yeah. Matthew says, I love Trossard, but how's our audio, by the way, just because we just changed? Is that right?
It's crisp, man. It's better than headphones. It's better
than headphones. Was it on headphones?
No, it's not
okay.
Headphones. It's better than headphones.
But was it on headphones before?
No.
Are you all right?
I'm all right. It's better than headphones.
I love Trossard, but his overall game isn't better than Martinelli's, and there's a reason Arteta starts him and Trossard plays bad. And he's like, is there a world where this is kind of the play where Martinelli goes and tires out the fullback, and Trossard comes on and he's kind of the technical security at the end of the game? Go on.
Yeah, I was going to jump in. So I've got an unpopular opinion on Trossard, which is that in that run-in, in the title run-in, where he obviously scored some big goals, and I'm not saying he didn't play well, he did. But there were times where he was very frustrating. I remember the Bournemouth home game at 1-0. I was thinking, get him off, get Martinelli on. We're 1-0 up, there's space to attack. And he gets the second goal, and I'm thinking, that's why you're not a coach, James. Like, that I actually think over a 90-minute, Martinelli maybe gives you a few, comp moments. If you're making maybe not in this game in particular, Trossard maybe doesn't give you as much of that, but my word, is he clinical and is he decisive? And he's just so cold. He's just yeah, my job's to put this in the back of the net and I'm going to do it. I don't know if anyone else in our squad takes that chance that Trossard put away. Maybe Saka, but on the other side. But yeah, sorry to cut in there. I just wanted to get that out there about him.
Oh, come on, the Cannonpod guys. Take over, man.
No,
all right.
Exactly. What's this all about, mate?
People are saying your audio is a bit quiet, Bhavs.
I've upped it right now, so I don't know if
he's upped it. Lovely stuff.
I can make it even louder if you want it.
Super sub striker. Yeah, I think this is basically what we're saying. I think there's different usages. This is probably going to be the conversation. Is this going to be?
It's the only thing left. I'll be honest.
Last season. It's like the same with Rice. It's okay. We're always going to have the conversation about where Rice's best position is. Is that going to be the best usage of Martinelli? I think Marino will also help to come to Akash's point. Thank you, Red on White as well. I think Marino will massively help in terms of releasing sooner, in terms of facilitating out wide, helping him inside. But this is my whole point: is that Trossard is brilliant inside as well. We've kept saying, but once you get Martinelli inside, he's lethal. He absolutely is, but so's Trossard. So then you have to look at the other stuff as well. That's always been Martinelli's trump card. That's been his thing that everyone goes, exactly. Once you get him inside, but so's Trossard.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hi, James. Why are you not on AFTV? Do you want to answer that? Let's...
Personal questions. Find out on the Cannon Podcast Patreon.
I want to know about my life. No, I will be on AFTV. Just for this one, I wasn't. I've got some dog sitting to do and things going on. So
calling me a dog.
He's got Win the dog. Whoa!
He's calling me a dog. Let's come to the individual players.
Then. Your dog, man.
We should get the dog on.
I did get him on my match report.
Houdini.
David Raya.
His name's Houdini.
Give us David Raya.
Oh, what a moment providing this game. Very solid in general. He looks assertive now. Looks like he's fully an Arsenal player. When he came in last year with no pre-season, coming in, right in the first 3-4 games, it was difficult, and he had just 3 struggling games. But since that Porto game, he's just been absolutely solid. He knows exactly what his role in the team is when he comes out playing in the build-up phase, moving with the left-hand side, absolutely comfortable and also assertive as well from corners. Because look, he's not the tallest of goalkeepers, and when he comes flying in and wins those balls and clears it with 6'5" Onana just charging towards you. Yeah, fantastic goalkeeper. And there's a reason why the PFA, the players voted last year for him as the best goalkeeper in the league, which is surprising because you got Alisson, who people would normally say, but the players have seen Raya play and they've gone up against him, going, no, this guy's the best goalkeeper in the league, and I agree with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's so interesting, isn't it? Because Raya being voted by other teammates into
And Ramsdale the year before that as
other
well.
opposition, sorry,
colleagues.
that tells you what they think, especially even goalkeepers. They're like, technically what he, because I feel like goalkeeping is such a like, for fans, like we don't know what's going on with goalkeepers. We don't really know what's going on. There's a podcast I always reference.
Keep it out of the net.
Keep it out of the net. There's this podcast with Neil Cutler, who's the Aston Villa goalie coach. And he's talking about, like, honestly, he's saying some stuff, and I'm like, he sounds like it's like Greek to me. I have no idea what he's on about. It's a whole different world. Yeah, they obviously clearly rate him. I said this in a TDK video plug, that I think this is the season where David Raya, because he hasn't got the Ramsdale thing kind of hanging over him, he properly establishes himself with a couple of big moments, and he's done that in both the last 2 games. He's had a massive moment at Wolves. In like the, the comp moments, like them, because basically he's so brilliant on the ball, but that sort of stuff, that's never going to be picked up by the children on TikTok.
We've become used to it. That's what it is. Remember that first Ramsdale pass years ago against West Brom, he just cut through the lines, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, I saw that again.
Wow, what have we got? What have we got? We're used to it. Now. We're used to it.
Yeah. Ben White.
I thought he did okay. I mean, the best thing he did was the John McGinn moment. I mean, I'll be really honest, because, and the reason I say is, I'm not even saying it kind of like as jokingly, "Oh, well done, you gave it back to John McGinn." John McGinn knows what he's doing when he fired that William Saliba on the floor, because otherwise, you booted out for a goal kick? Like, he knows what he's doing. But what I really like about Ben White doing that is, in that split second, he's recognised, you've just done that to my teammate. I'm not going to let you get away with it. Yeah. And he saw moments of that throughout the game, like Calafiori, like even when he came on, had a bit of, like, who else was it? There was a moment down the right-hand side. I can't remember who it was, but the team were letting Villa know they were there. Yeah. They weren't crossing the line. Yeah. They weren't leg-breaking challenges or anything like that. I mean, that for me is unacceptable, and also doesn't make you a very good team. There was just that right line of like, no, don't F with us, basically. I don't know if I can swear on this podcast. But that's what I really liked. And I think Ben White, I'm trying to say that's what he did better than anything. I actually felt this was a game where he was marauding forward more. And with more time, I think Ødegaard, Partey, Saka would have found more White runs and White overlaps. They just didn't this game.
Ironically, because his name's White, the ghosting runs around the back, I think, is something we were talking about earlier. Like, that if you just clipped up all those moments where he's making those runs in behind, there was a couple of moments where Ødegaard should have found him in behind. He was a little bit high on his touches. Alex and James in his bedroom is weird, but somehow not. I'm actually in his lounge. All right, so that's not weird.
He's got a studio, mate. He's upgraded. Robbie's got my studio.
I'll go Saliba, mate. Saliba.
Yeah, he's a joke.
That recovery run. We haven't actually spoken about Morgan Rogers, by the way. We probably should.
Whoa, what a player!
We should also, Bhavs, because I've also realised what we missed out. Haven't seen the field tilt, have we? We'll come back to the player ratings in a second.
I don't think we won the field tilt. I can't lie.
What do you mean? No touch balls, no field tilt. What's going on?
But did we win?
Like, you don't like the kind of podcast,
because we're gonna ruin my mood if we didn't win it.
Forget the result. Forget beating. Good evening. Forget beating Villa. Oh, I'm Villa. We're going to beat you. Unai Emery. He's got a plan for you. We won on field tilt.
Oh, that's surprising, That is actually very surprising. Oh, wow. What's this?
That's all that matters, lads.
In-sync clap.
I'm
right.
That's all that matters, lads.
That is all that matters. Should we get an extra point for that? How long before the Premier League announced like an extra field tilt point? Because we'd win at least like an extra 30 years.
It's like goal difference, but for field tilt. Lads, we want to field tilt.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. If goal difference equals, you got to field tilt.
Exactly the same XG.
That's surprising, because they had some really big chances. Like the Watkins chances XGs must be insanely high.
Yeah, Villa 1.6, Arsenal 1.6 expected goals. Villa 11 shots to our 9. Villa had more shots than us. We had more shots on target by 1. They had 1 more open play shot. We had 60% possession. By the way, to come to Villa Park and have 60% possession, credit to us. Good. Win on field tilt, win on final third entries, win on all the important stuff. Zone 14 touches 16 to 8. Progressive passes 28 to 18. Our PPDA was much lower than theirs. Yeah, I mean, all the sort of the underlying metrics are looking good and sort of matched up with the eye test. But yeah, the expected goals. I mean, look, that's what you pay a goal. That's why you go and replace your goalkeeper for. We're just watching it now on the highlights. That's what you go and that's why you have the disruption that we had last season to make these absolutely tiny, what feel like tiny upgrades, but actually when it comes down to it, can be absolutely massive, absolutely massive. Sham says he was annoyed when I didn't mention Phil Tilt on the overlap. Sorry. Let's come back to. By the way, I want to come to Morgan Rogers.
Yeah, he's great.
What a play! And actually,
where did they sign him from?
Can I just get James's tweet up? Because credit to James, he called this early. Do you want to? While we get it up.
Well, I mean, basically, I was. How much do I tweet? Oh,
too much.
There we go.
It's the X revenue, mate.
Basically, I was just doing. I did a sort of analysis preview, which I don't normally do, but I think it's something I'm going to do a bit more of on my channel. And Morgan Rogers, like when I was watching, West Ham, the extended highlights of West Ham Villa, all of the kind of best things were through Morgan Rogers, and I just thought, well, if there's kind of one thing, if they had like a guily playmaker, I kind of thought we'd be okay. But he's a runner, he's a dribbler. And I looked at his numbers, and then I looked at Partey's sort of defensive numbers from in terms of tackling dribblers and stuff, and they're really low. And it was just like a bad matchup statistically on the eye test, whatever. So yeah, essentially,
I just want to show, because you showed this in mate. This is scary. Yeah. Thoughts on Partey's performance today, Bhavs?
He scored a goal, which was most important. But it's a typical Partey performance at this point, isn't it? He's not quite the Partey of a couple of years ago. I also think the team we've kind of not moved past the profile completely, but just a slight little bit. And in certain games, he wants certain control. I think he struggles on a blind side quite often. He gets nicked. And I don't know, man. There is a certain sense of this is his final year. Well, it's his final year of his contract, right? So he leaves on a free at the end of the season. And I think, there's a reason behind that as well. Because his quality on the ball, I still think is there. But it's just that off the ball. He doesn't have the legs anymore.
Yeah, and just to give that some legs, ironically, this is Partey's numbers against midfielders over the last 365 days in the top 5 leagues. Yeah. Remember, this is our number 6. Dribblers tackled.
Have you seen the amount of times he gets blazed past?
It
stands out in your mind straight away.
He doesn't engage
also,
like he used to.
we have to caveat with it's me, caveat. We have to caveat with the amount he'll be doing because of the control we have on games is a lot lower. We have to caveat with, in terms of the, what he's doing, but I think we can see it in game. If you put Thomas Partey in a different, at Ipswich or whatever, I don't think these numbers go to 99. Do you know what I mean? I do think it's a concern.
But I will say, I thought he had a really good game on the ball. There's the reason I forgive Partey, I didn't like the Rogers Partey battle when I sort of doing my research around the game. But Rice got done by Rogers. Ødegaard did. Like everyone struggled. He was a handful. So while I do think, that was kind of an interesting battle, Partey on the ball was brilliant. And so, sometimes people say, "Oh, they deserve their goal." I mean, he scored a goal and well done to me. Clinched us to 3 points, so he's had a massive moment. But on the ball, I felt he did well, and he definitely does find those players in the pockets a little bit more than others. And Arteta, I think, still feels that there's more to get out of this player. So he did well. Yeah, he did well. I thought he was It wasn't like what he's done against Liverpool and City, where Partey's felt like, oh my word, he ran the game. But he definitely did some really good things today, and it was good to see. Yeah.
2,300 of you watching live, which is crazy. Make sure you like and subscribe, and head over to the Gooniverse because he's just uploading his match review, but not until we finish this. I'm
not allowed to hit publish till
then. Saliba and Gabriel, we should come on to. Saliba, mate, the Prem just looks too easy for him. That recovery run I think it was against Morgan Rogers. Was it against Morgan Rogers or against Watkins? Either way, the ground he makes up is absolutely unbelievable. He looked brilliant on the board. I don't think it was
Jacob Ramsey. I think it was Ramsey.
Jacob Ramsey. He just, honestly, the way he dealt with Watkins in behind in the spaces, he looks so secure. We know all this stuff. This probably isn't worth spending time on, but just shout out for Saliba. Gabriel looks strong. Some nice balls over the top as well. A couple of nice switches from Gabriel. Look pretty good. Let's talk Timber. Thoughts on Timber, Bhavs?
Solid, man. Solid. And it's a second league start over for Arsenal, which is kind of crazy because it's signed him last year. So, I think it was this right at the start of the game, he had this moment where he kind of went into midfield and got the ball and kind of nicked a pass a player and tried to spray out wide to Saka and got cut off there. And just seeing how assertive he is on the ball and how calm he always is. He doesn't seem ever phased by anything. Even when he loses the ball sometimes, a bit like days ago. I think you catch him out at times. But I really feel like if you give him 10 games in his starting lineup, by the game number 10, Arsenal fans will know this guy's a very integral part of our team because he's so high quality on the ball, so composed. And he's a player that in games where you're under pressure and teams are going to press you, I want him to get the ball. And when it comes to the Champions League as well, he's a player I trust in those tight games as well because, certain players they make you feel on edge at times, But Timber gives you the Saliba aura. On the ball, I know exactly what he's doing. I know he's always got control of himself. And he might lose the ball at times, but he will lose it in areas where he can get the ball back.
Yeah, he always wants it. He always wants it. And he always wants it in tight areas. He wants to make something happen. He wants to move through the thirds. It's in such a dynamic way. He's not trying to, it's not sort of short passing. He's trying to drive it. He's trying to make those long passes and move us up and progresses, which is really important. Let's come on to the midfield. Yeah, we talked about Thomas Partey. Declan Rice, I didn't think he had his best game.
It's a weird game for Declan Rice. Look, I don't think he's suited to being that kind of... People call me a hypocrite because last season I always wanted to see Rice in the left eight. That was because... Thank you. I can't believe I invite you to my studio. No, but
this is your bedroom, isn't it? Your bed's there, right?
Let's not start that rumor. With Declan Rice, Ødegaard, Partey, I just felt with all the midfielders we have, that is the balance. Like now that we have got Marino coming in, I just don't see the need. And Wanera looked really good in one area, should I say? He's taught us how to pronounce that. One area looked really good in the left eight in preseason. I just don't think we need to see long-term Rice in that position too much. He's too good of a ball-winning midfielder. And I just don't think for what Partey's strengths are in that sixth area, it's worth losing Rice's strengths. Because I think he's been a little bit in and out of the games against Wolves and Villa. But he does what the manager asks. His legs are phenomenal in terms of just getting up and down the pitch, the energy he brings, the stamina. Like, you almost play out position with a double six because you've got him there, and then in possession you're asking him to do a little bit something, show some power in his runs and combine play. It doesn't come so naturally to him, but he does okay. He's definitely been working on his left foot because some of his crosses, I mean, he was digging out some good crosses, just
very good.
We won't do too much with it. Look, he was he was fine. I'd give him a 6 out of 10. Speaking of, I need to go do a player rating for AFTV, so I'm going to drop out of this in a second.
So,
but in fact, I might shout over for some numbers if I need.
Yeah, do it. I
will actually.
Okay.
Love everyone. Subscribe to the Cannon podcast, which you obviously will have because you're here. But
I'm going to disagree with you as you leave. I think the Rice situation. Yeah, that's right. The Rice situation. I don't know what to do with him at the moment. And that doesn't mean get him out of the team. That just means I don't know what to do with him because he's obviously a brilliant player. I think, the advantages of him in the left eight is the stamina he brings, the running he does, the little runs off the back of Martinelli, the ability to be on the last line. Even at the beginning of the game, I think we underestimate the final third quality that Rice has in terms of making those sort of off-the-ball runs. As a 6, does he have the elite level progressive passing? It's not to say he can't progress the ball. Of course he can. But is he the elite level yet of progressive passing? I don't know. And that's a genuine I don't know. That's not a no. That's a genuine I don't know. I take the out of possession quality 100%. And that's if you were just putting Declan Rice into the team based on only out of possession quality, you'd put him as deep as you can. You might even put him as a centre back. But that's not all he is. And I think because of the running he can do, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what he does when Marino comes in because I think Marino might mean that Rice can sit further back and we rely less on Partey. I think because Partey can't play in the 8, it pushes Rice to the 8. I don't know. It's all up in the air for me.
We've not seen Rice play with a natural number 8 on the left-hand side yet, and that's why I'm very intrigued to see how Marino comes in and does, because I feel like that's I think it'll be Mikel's go-to midfield, and he can completely surprise us, by the way, but we've not seen Rice given that, you can say Xhaka type of profile from 22-23. And so I want to see how that works out first. Give it a game or two. If it doesn't work out, you've got a player like Thomas Partey coming into the team. Maybe even Jorginho, not talked about him, but he's a player who could start alongside Rice as well. And he could do a very good job there. Rice can give you a very good game as an 8 and certain game states as well. And those big games we saw against City last year, it works very nicely, especially when it comes to pressing as well. He can jump very nicely, anticipate, he's very good at closing down as well. And in that final third, surprisingly, he's effective as well, But as a 6, I think he's got I think he's got the ability to play the passes, and that's why I think I want to just see him more often. Maybe it's something you can coach into his game. But when you've got two metronome type players like Odegaard and Marino coming in as well next to you, I trust that and you've got Timber behind you, or maybe a Calafiori or Zinchenko as well. We've got enough players around to supplement that one little deficiency compared to the rest of his strengths as a 6 where he can cover ground even better. He's a bit more secure than Partey off the ball, and he can help us to close games down as well better. So yeah, I think as a 6 is his future, but I understand it's a little bit of a confusing stage of his career because if he's a guaranteed 6, why is he starting as an 8 right now? But you know, now we've got Marino coming in, and then we've got the here we go for that very soon. So I want to see how he gets into gets put into the team and how long it takes for Mikel to start him as well. So it's an intriguing part of his career.
Yeah. I don't have loads to say on Odegaard or Saka or Havertz. I didn't think any of them had their absolute best games, but there's not some huge conversation around them.
Saka himself, I don't know if you got the same energy for him, but I get a different feeling from this year post Euros. The way he walks around, his celebrations, and maybe it was a celebration against Wolves as well. It feels like he's more of the main man. Like he feels like it himself as well, and he's not whining and crying. He's demanding the ball, making things happen. He's very composed, and he's got this sense of I'm the main guy in this team right now. And I've got that feeling throughout the entire preseason as well. In the game he started against Leverkusen, I just got the vibe. Was it Lyon or Leverkusen? And I feel like this is a year where he can make himself as the guaranteed best Arsenal player. Last year, if you talk about Arsenal's best player and you talk about rival fans as well, they say Odegaard's up there. But I think Saka's got the quality to just go clear this season with some very important goals. And I just get a vibe that he's taken more charge and more control this season.
Yeah, I see that. I think I said this about the goal he scored against Wolves. He scored that. There was a comp that was made of him scoring all those types of goals where he cuts in on the left. In all of those goals, there's a path that opens up for him, but in that Wolves game, he creates it. He creates the lane for himself, and that's the thing. That's the quality I'm referring to when I say we need a player who can create something out of nothing, someone who makes it for themselves, and that's what's really exciting. Let's finish with the rest of the super chats. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you all for being here. 40 minutes later, still over 2,000 of you watching. Amazing, really appreciate it. Afnan says, if Watkins scored early, do we still win this? It's a different game.
If my aunt had wheels,
if my grandmother had wheels.
She had wheels. Yeah, we'll see about that, man. Look, we needed a bit of luck in this game, that's for sure. This wasn't our perfect Arsenal performance, but it goes both ways, man. I remember last year watching the game against at Villa Park, and I was missing chance after chance. And when other teams take advantage of it, no one talks about our chances. They go, well, Arsenal wasteful, they need a striker. So, Villa missed a few chances, and it is what it is, but I think it is justice from last season. We had 3 XG and scored 0 goals over 2 games.
Yeah.
It's about to cash in, man. It's got to cash in. So Trossard comes in and bangs that goal in. I'm going, that's exactly what football is. This is football heritage. And I could just sense it coming. Because it was one of those types of games where you could sense Villa are growing into it, but missing chance after chance. You had that moment where I think they played a free kick come in, and it was, who was it, Conso someone? And he's kind of just obviously, I think, just blazed it wide or just played across the goalkeeper. And I'm going, okay, they're missing chances now. Take one of your chances and just sucker punch them. And Leon Trossard's better for that.
Yeah, absolutely agree. We shouldn't analyze his performance too much, especially with the context of our previous 2 meetings. It's just we move. Yeah, look, everything evens itself out in the end, and I think there was another Watkins chance? There was another chance before the big save from Raya. I can't quite remember it now. There was quite a big. Oh, it was Watkins. There was the foul on Gabriel, and then Watkins. Well, I felt it was a foul on Gabriel. We can maybe agree or disagree on that. And then Watkins went wide, and I remember watching that going.
It's our day.
That's the sorts of this might be our day. This might be our day
because
you do need those sorts of things to go in your favor. So I really appreciate. It was really nice. Ben N, big save, Dave. Absolutely, yeah. We can't praise David Raya enough for today's performance. It was terrific, and I think he's going to establish himself as one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. He already is one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League, but in terms of that outside perception, I think it's really important.
The best goalkeeper in the Premier League.
Exactly. Thank you, Ben. Does Gyökeres fit our system as per your analysis? George and I did a scouted episode on the Cannon Podcast, which you can check out, and you can also find it on Patreon YouTube members. We looked at his clips. Outside the box, Gyökeres, I have a lot of concerns. I think he's not particularly efficient with the ball. I don't think he's not a Kai Havertz pulling himself back and, stopping a full in the left back position, making important tackles. In the box, Gyökeres is unbelievable. If that can translate, if we just want box efficiency, but if we can get that from Saka, if we can get that from Trossard, I'm more looking at a different type of forward, someone who's maybe can help us on the transition, someone who's maybe got a little bit more pace, etc., etc. So potentially. Hey mate, you're right. Friends. Martinelli picking up the ball as a fullback for FFS. I get that, but this is part of what the reason Mikel starts Martinelli, especially in these sorts of games, is he's so diligent off the ball. He's so diligent. And especially when he plays Zinchenko. Like playing Zinchenko and Trossard, that's still a concern for me. It is. So,
but we've got options, don't it? We don't have to stop them together.
Yeah. Thank you, mate. Sham, I was so annoyed you didn't mention Phil Tilt at the overlap. I only had about 3 seconds. I think if I started talking about Phil Tilt, everyone would have gone.
Yeah, Carragher would be like, actually, if you had Neville, you might have gone,
Phil Tilt, what are you on about?
Get it out.
Neville did that thing today where he was just on Martinelli from minute 1. He did it. Do you remember?
Yeah, he picks a player.
He always picks something. It was last season. It was Raya at home against Man City. It was he said he looked nervous, and he just killed. And Arteta said after the game, "I wanted him to play that way." He just killed him over and over and over again. It was so boring.
Yeah. And then it kind of creates the thing in the fan base as well when we watch the games on TV, because that's the analysis. Just it's like a voice in the head at that point, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, it's not good at all. Fode, thank you, sir. Rogers was a danger. Oliver had dubious calls. Raya, superstar. Enjoyed defensive plays of Calafiori. Yeah, haven't spoken about Calafiori. Not the greatest game from our midfielders. Yeah, probably not the game from our midfield. I think specifically Rice and Partey in terms of on the transition stuff, it was a concern. Calafiori looked pretty good.
Yeah, very good, very aggressive. Jumpy as well. And he's very into it straight away. He's very eager to get into the game. And I wonder how soon before he gets to start in the team. Because Timber's back fully fit now. So if he's playing Timber on the left hand side, where does Calafiori play? Is it for Gabriel at times to rotate between him? We've got the Champions League games coming up. I don't know how that draw works. Is it something that it's like AI will draw us against certain teams, and we play like 8 different sides or something like that, and it's like a team.
AI.
So we'll see. Yeah, maybe it's like the Premier League supercomputer who get, puts the fixtures perch and puts us like Spurs away and City away back to back at the start of the season.
Yeah,
cheers, mate. Appreciate that.
Do you remember that octopus that was like picking
the World Cup?
Yeah,
2010 World Cup.
The World Cup octopus is going to be that guy. And finally, Pratik. Yeah, we did this. We did this on the Cannonpod a little while ago. Pleasure. Listen, look, we've obviously had a discussion about Martinelli, which we'll come to on the main pod on Monday, which I won't be on, so you two can have a chat about that.
Okay. Yep.
We'll all these conversations are kind of ongoing, and there are no concerns from today. But I do think I want to start with, and I want to finish with the most important part of this. That is a really, really important win. I think you could see from the way the players were responding, they wanted that. They really wanted
celebration
that
as well.
Yeah,
it's satisfying. Come on, we got this.
Yeah, and that's a big mental hurdle overcome. Again, wasn't our absolutely best day, but also I don't want to overdo that. We weren't terrible. We just we know we can play better than that. And Villa are a brilliant side. Like this isn't it's not some terrible
Champions League side.
side.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
against with the second best manager in the league according to most fans. So how old that Unai? It's very nice. Actually, do you know what it is as well? It's like we've got very few hurdles to overcome not to win a title. This was one of the very few.
Yeah.
We've gone to Villa Park. We've got a clean sheet. We've got 3 points. So the matters.
Yeah. When was the last time we went to Villa Park and won?
Jorginho's goal. The deflected one where it's like
22-23.
and Martinelli's going through and he's just doing that.
Yeah.
That was that. That was Emery's Villa result, to be fair. That was Mikel's first win over Emery in the last year. Two games. We've actually played well against Villa, even the last 2 games last year. He just didn't take our chances.
He was in a rust gilet. I remember that. Crime against fashion. We'll finish there. Thank you guys so much for being here for nearly an hour. Appreciate it. Check out the Cannon podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go check out James, who's on us just now on the Gooniverse. Podcast coming next week. We did a scouting video on Asana Diao, who's a prospect last week. So you can go check that out on the Patreon side. Bhavs did a stream with Grizz on Friday, which you can go check out. Lots of good stuff going around. Obviously, we've got our individual channels as well, so go check those out. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're here for usually half an hour after every game, unless it's a good one. Thank you guys so much for being here on this reaction. Any final words, Bhavs?
Come on, the Arsenal.
Come on, the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners. Thanks for being here. And thanks for keeping it Arsenal.
Peace.